Hello guys, Mr. Fluffy Pants here, and today guys, another video. Today guys, I'm reviewing Nobody, which is a 2021 movie, which, just kind of got, like, a lot of hype out over. Like, honestly, I didn't, really even know about this movie coming out until, because saw this in its second weekend opening. I didn't really, see trailers for anything for this movie. Then I just started hearing people talk about it, and they were talking about how, it's pretty much like the next John Wick, and it really got me interested, and so I went to go see it, and I gotta say that this movie is really, really good. Like, I can definitely see the John Wick parallels, but, I guess, first of all, for a quick little non-spoiler, because, I kind of will just go and get into the spoilers of the movie, but for non-spoilers, I think it's kind of unfair to straight up compare it to John Wick, even though there's a lot of similarities, like, main story-wise, and, but I think the fact that, it is actually written by the same guy that written the first three John Wick movies, comparison's a little warranted, I would say, but this movie, like, Bob Odenkirk in the movie, he does an amazing job, and I think the movie is worth just going to see it for him, because, like, I don't really want to say, like, a more realistic version of John Wick, but it kind of is, though. Because, like, John Wick, he's just kind of, like, never gets hurt, always ends up on top, which, that's not true all the time, but, like, you know what I mean, like, in this movie, he actually gets hurt, like, during his altercations and stuff, and I would definitely say, there's also some key differences, like, story-wise and all that, so I would definitely say if you're interested at all in it, or just looking for a good action movie, I would definitely suggest going to see it. I would probably give this movie, like, a 9.4 out of 10, honestly. So 9.4 out of 10, so that's pretty good review. Yeah, that's it for the non-spoiler. Now we're going to get into the spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it and then come back, or, just don't. I mean, it don't really matter, but, so Bob Odenkirk, like, okay, so I know, a lot of people, were kind of surprised for him, not being able to pull off this role, since, he played, like, in, Better Call Saul, and that kind of roles, they were like, yeah, he did really good in this role, considering, what he's used to, but, I haven't seen any of his other stuff, but I gotta say, though, he did really good in this movie. I honestly kind of want to say, like I said, I don't think it's really fair, drawing comparisons to John Wick, but the fact that the writer is the same, I feel like, you can't really avoid it, and I just feel like, personality-wise, I feel like the whole, kind of suburban dad kind of thing going on here, honestly, is a little bit more enjoyable, and also, the whole fact of, and I can definitely see, the comparisons, though, because, like, the world building, like, this and John Wick are just fantastic. The world building, like, here, it kind of slowly builds throughout the entire movie, and you still don't get, like, the clearest, backstory, but, the whole, and also, like, the whole reason the plot goes into effect is kind of like a bunch of coincidences, I want to say, but, pretty much, this guy, which is, Nobody, but Hutch, whatever his last name is, Hutch, he was kind of like an auditor for the, as he says, the, agencies with the three letters, like FBI, CIA, all that kind of stuff. He's kind of like an auditor, like, if, somebody in one of those branches, did something that, they weren't supposed to, he was the guy, be coming on, knocking at your door, and you did not want to see him knock on your door, because most of the time, you weren't going to be alive after that. So it's kind of like the secretive branch of the military, I guess. Because, earlier his son's doing, like, a report on, somebody from the military, and, he asked his dad, he's like, no, I was just an auditor, blah, 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 which, I mean, technically he's not wrong, but, like, later in the movie, when the main villain, gets somebody to send something to the, Pentagon, blackmail for, foul, like, on, Hutch, the guy that's trying to get the information about at the Pentagon, it's like redacted and whatnot. He goes into the basement, it's just like blacked out, and everything's just like blacked out, just says Nobody on it, which I think is very funny. And then whenever the girl, gets the information back, she just like throws this up. She's like, no payment needed. Good luck, and just walks out because she's like scared. And honestly, I always like the kind of characters like, and with John Wick, how like they're kind of like legendary figures, and like they're respected or whatnot. Like, that's one thing I really love about the John Wick character. And same thing here. they're like, oh, whenever he's like in the tattoo shop and the veteran sees his wrist tattoo, it's got like the cards or whatnot, which I guess is I guess like his calling card for that branch he was in. But he sees that and the veteran's like, thank you for your service, and he walks out and you just hear all the locks on the door clicking and all that, which is hilarious. And then all the other people in the tattoo shop like, okay, what do you need? Blah, blah, blah. But, the whole thing about the plot that gets rolling is over a kitty bracelet, which is kind of weird, because, also, I was watching like the stuff like before the previews, and then the action movie starts at the movie theater, and Bob Odenkirk was talking about how he wanted to do this action movie after he had like a real life home break in or something like that, because really the thing that sets all this in motion is someone breaks into his home and I wouldn't say try to hurt his family, but like he's pretty much like, yeah, I mean, you take this money, here's my watch, blah blah blah, and his son tackles one of the people, and he's like, come on, get him, dad, and Hutch has the can get the jump on him, but he decides not to, because we learn later that he notices all this stuff like, hey, that gun wasn't loaded, blah 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 blah, and everybody around him's like, man, if they would have came to my house, I would beat the shit out of them, blah blah blah. And Hutch is like, I mean, but the thing that really sets him off the edge, and also I like the whole thing about seeing how mundane his life is, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, blah blah blah, the whole interesting family dynamic at his company or whatnot. And also the thing with, him and his wife have marital issues and stuff, which, it's kind of sweet when it comes back around later when they kind of, get the relationship back, which one thing I was kind of confused about is some points in the movie, his wife kind of seemed like she knew his past, but other parts of the movie, she kind of seemed surprised about it, which I think they were leaning more towards, she didn't really know about it, but it could be just the thing that, she knew that, something about his past was kind of bad, but didn't know the full extent of it, but, like, because, like, whenever, he first, comes back from beating up the people in the bus and she's sewing up all his wounds or whatnot, and they're like, and he's like, huh, just like old times, huh? And she's like, yeah, yeah. But then later she acts all surprised and like, oh no, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. So I was kind of confused by that, but, back in the movie, they kind of fix their marital issues, and he's like, well, you know what, thank you for, let me pretend to have this life, that you knew I could never have, or something like that, which, I think that's a very sweet moment, but get back to the whole, thing of coincidences that, really get this movie starting, that, whenever his daughter talks about, the kitty bracelet that, the bad guys might have stole from the bowl, that really sets him over there, so then he hunts down those, the two people that broke into his house, and, gets his, watch back and whatnot, and, but then he sees that, they were stealing stuff for their kid, which was, like, on a ventilator or something like that, and, then he kind of feels bad about it, but when he's riding the bus home, these jerkwads wreck their car, get on the bus, and start harassing everybody. And then I like how he tells everybody to get off the bus, and then he unloads his gun in front of them. He's like, I'm gonna fuck y'all up, and they start laughing at him. And this is the thing I was saying like earlier, like how the movie kind of treats it more realistic, John Wick, because this guy straight up gets gets stabbed, thrown through the window. He has like hard time getting up and stuff, but he just keeps persevering, and he knocks out one guy's teeth and just beats the shit out of everybody. And then the one guy that was gonna grab the gun that he unloaded tries shooting him, and he hits him in the throat with the pipe, which crushes his windpipe, where he's gonna die from a suffocation or whatnot. Then he goes up to him and cuts a little hole in his throat and sticks a straw in there so he can breathe, which was just brutal, honestly. But which it turns out was this Russian mobster's brother, which I think the main villain's guy is Yulin, which I will say that is definitely a weak point of the movie, is the the main bad guy, but I mean, he served his purpose, I guess. How he was kind of the babysitter of like the Russian mobs, as they describe the Russian mob's 401k, as they describe it, which, is funny later, but, he served his purpose. Like, I like that one, where he smashes his glass and beats the shit out of that guy and, like, kills him in the bar or whatnot, just to prove his point, but he's, like, singing karaoke throughout the movie and all that. Like I said, I think he served a purpose, just not the best villain, but, we also learn a little bit more about our main character Hutch, how his dad seemed to be in the business too, which is played by Christopher Lloyd, which just goes badass on people with a shotgun, and like his brother, which was adopted or something, which we kept hearing on the radio, which, yeah, I kind of do want to, hear just a little bit more about their backstory, which I hope they make us look through this movie, because it's just really interesting, the backstory, and the world building, which, we didn't get completely flushed out, which, is you still want a little bit of mystery, but I could have used a little bit more explanation. But, like I said, I love the whole thing about, like, oh shit, don't mess with this guy. Like, even at the end, after he's arrested, after, the whole, warehouse fight or whatnot, and the police get a call, and they're like, hey, you better let this guy go. I just think it's absolutely hilarious. But, and, there's the, whole, so pretty much Hutch is like, hey, you came after my family, so now, I'm gonna, fuck y'all up. He pours gasoline all over the Russian mom's 401k, burns it all to the ground, then goes up there. I think it's funny whenever you see all this, he's just shooting people and then burns all the money, and then you see the karaoke guy, or the main guy, Yulin, finishing up his karaoke song, and Hutch is just sitting there in the middle of the crowd, just eating his food, and it's just funny just looking at him. Then Yulin comes like, hey, you got a lot of nerve to be here. And he's like, well, I mean, and he pulls out a freaking claymore just sitting on the table, like, hey, I'm gonna kill everybody, so let's just talk. And he's like, hey, so, you came after my family, and, I burnt all your stuff, but we can both rebuild. And he's like, what do you mean rebuild? He's like, oh, yeah, I burnt all your money, and blah, blah. And he gets really mad at everything. He's like, well, listen, they're going to come after you for all this money being destroyed, or, we could just go our separate ways. You go retire, blah, blah, blah. And he walks out with his claymore, and then he's like, you see across the veins, you're like, yeah, I really hope this guy comes after me, because I already set up all these traps, because, he bought, his father-in-law's company, and sets up, like, a bunch of booby traps and stuff, which kind of remind me of Rambo Last Blood a little bit, the kind of R-rated Home Alone stuff, but that whole final act is, just a great, great entertaining time. Like, Christopher Lloyd and his brother just coming and sniping people. Things going boom, boom, shots. It's just honestly just such a fun time. That last 15 minutes is just insane. And then I love how they kill the main bad guy. Hutch puts same claymore like on a bulletproof glass and runs up to him and pulls the string. Not to say I've never seen someone killed in a movie with a claymore. Maybe in Rambo, maybe, but not like that. Like, that was pretty awesome, honestly. And the gore in this movie is pretty good. The soundtrack, I think, is really good. Like I said, the whole world building, I guess the charm of Hutch, Bob Odenkirk's character. Like, I love when he's every time he's trying to tell somebody his like story or whatnot, they always die, like the guy in the car, which I did think that was a pretty cool way how he got out. He dislocated his thumbs and used the fire extinguisher to make him crash. That was very clever. But every time he's trying to tell somebody a story, they just die, like, while he's telling it, which I think is just funny. But like I said, though, this movie's, like, really good. Like, I really enjoy this movie, and, I mean, it's not really fair to compare it to John Wick, but then again, at the same time, it kind of is, and, like, compared to those movies, I think this could definitely stand on its own without being compared to those, but being compared to those, like, this would honestly be a really good John Wick movie. But I think the fact that Bob Odenkirk adds such a unique flair to the character is definitely such a unique movie, and, this is definitely going to be a movie I'll buy on Blu-ray immediately, because I absolutely love this movie, and I hope this kind of continues the franchise, because, they do have the end credit scene, which kind of sets up a second movie, but I'd just like to see a lot more from this, and hope, they play up a little bit more of the suburban kind of dad kind of thing they had set up for, like, half the movie, but, because then they just, kind of dropped it by the third act, I guess. But, like I said, I'll probably give this movie a 9.4 out of 10, just because, I loved it so much. It was such an enjoyable movie, not too long, a lot of good action in the movie, and, I love the main character so much, and the whole world building is just so interesting to me. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about this movie down below. Did you guys like it as much as I did? But check out my Twitter and Discord, link in the description. Like, subscribe for more, check out some other videos, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!